Good morning, History Detectives. This is Miss Wilder. We are going to learn about a very exciting project that you guys will begin working on this Friday. So you will continue this project the following Friday, so you will be actually working on it 2 weeks. Your task is to create a collaborative. That means you're working on it with your peers, the collaborative slide deck about a Native American cultural region. You are going to be able to choose the cultural region down here that you enjoyed learning about most when we found all of our evidence to complete our reading notes for chapter 3. What we're going to do is you have to make sure that you click on each slide to see what is required. I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. But it's important to know that you are not getting all this information just solely from your memory. A lot of good historians and detectives, they take notes and they use their research to help them then present a project at the end. So that's what you guys are going to do. I have linked several things down here at the bottom on this HyperDoc. This is your HyperDoc for your project. I have linked the digital version of your textbook, which you guys also have the hard copy. You could use either one. But I've also linked the 8th grade social studies textbook that we've been using because we don't want to be just your average basic 5th grader. We are going to strive for even more than that. And we are truly going to become the smartest 5th graders in the whole world. You're also going to use your chapter 3 reading notes. So you're going to use all of these reading notes that we have been working to complete over the last week and to fill out with such great detail. This is going to now come in very handy if you did a great job and you were very thorough. So those are some of the first resources. Then I have linked several other websites with additional resources. There will be absolutely a wealth of information between what we've already learned and these websites. You won't need to go anywhere else to create an amazing presentation. So you're using those links below. I want you to also think about finding appropriate images to use in your slides. We remember how to go to Insert, Image, and how to search the web for those appropriate images. But also you could include a very, very brief appropriate YouTube video if it relates to your region and to that element of culture that your slides focus on. So we don't want those videos, though, to be any longer than 1 to 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes max. You'll see whenever I show you the template slide deck link in just a second that I have included instructions on the slide. So I always like to be as thorough as possible. That way you guys don't have any questions and you're not confused when you go home to work on these things. You are going to delete my instructions and then add your own information. Now, make sure, this is so important, be sure to write using your own words. We never want to copy and paste from a website or even type in directly what we have read from a textbook. We are researching, of course, and using all this information that we are finding as we investigate these different sources, but you never want to plagiarize. When you use someone else's words and represent that as your own work, that's called plagiarism, and we never want to do that. So you make sure that you read that information, think about it in your own brain, and then you create your own words and your own summary based on what you've learned. Finally, you're going to make sure to cite the resources that you used for your assigned slides on slide number 8 for your section. And that will all make sense even more whenever we look at this template. So I'm going to open up the template in just a second, but if I can have you glance at this outline. So we have 5 different regions out of the 7 that we studied. I chose to focus on 5 that you guys could choose to go into more details and become experts on, and then you're going to present these to the class. So the first student, the group leader, is going to type in their name beside the star for each of these regions. Now, I don't want you to type your name in here if you realize that you maybe don't know how to, you don't remember how to create a copy from a template and some of those technology things that we've been working on and doing hyperlinks. Let's maybe let someone else take the lead for that. But that lead person is going to be in charge of doing that and in charge of completing slides 1, 2, and 3, and then their section on section 8. The second student is going to be in charge of doing slides 4 and 5, and then just their section for slide 8. The third student will be doing slides 6 and 7, and then just their resources linked for that section on slide 8. So let me show you what this template looks like. When I go to this, when you guys open it up, it will not allow you to edit it. I have not given you privileges to edit it because we don't all want to be from all 3 classes editing the same document. So of course you're going to go to File, make a copy of the entire presentation, make sure that you're saving that in that 5th grade social studies folder so that we have everything neatly organized, and that is going to make it so much easier for us to find all of our work. So my 5th grade social studies folder, and I am going to name this, I'm going to pretend like I am doing the Northwest region. So I'm going to go ahead and name it that. It's going to make a copy for me. I'm going to close out this first one so that I just focus on using everything from this actual slides. Once I do that, I'm pretending like I'm the group leader. I'm going to go to my share button. I'm going to make sure that I change the settings. I want to change this so that anyone with this link can not only view it, but I want them to be able to edit it. And I'm going to click copy my link now, and then done. The reason why we want to edit it is because now that I, as a group leader, have gone in and copied that link, I'm going to create a hyperlink to this presentation link so that everyone in my group here can have access to the slides because we're all working on the same thing. So I'm going to right click, link, and then paste. Now watch what happens. This changes colors, and when I click on it, see, I can already tell, but I'm going to go ahead and open it and double check that that is indeed my presentation. And yes, it is. Now the rest of the people pretend that Amberlyn and William were in my group. Now Amberlyn and William simply go to our presentation link. They're going to find our region, and if their names were typed in here, this is the link that they go to begin working on their assigned slides. I'm not going to assign your groups. You guys are going to choose your group based on the region you're most interested in becoming an expert on and learning more about. Now, I would make sure that I chose wisely and tried to be with people that I knew would complete their work so we had a nice presentation at the end. But I know one of the frustrating things about group work is sometimes group members work harder than others. Although this is a collaborative project, that means we are working on it together. I did try to think about that as a teacher. I took that into consideration. And that's why each student is responsible for certain slides. Let's take a look at that. So the team leader is going to do slides 1, which is just the title page, the table of contents, and the introduction with these elements. The second student will be in charge of just the next 2 slides, natural resources in the region and their homes and shelters, and the next slide, clothing and dress. The third student is going to be in charge of the next 2 slides, food and utensils, as well as artifacts and tools. Then see how I've divided this research sources slides up. Everyone is contributing, and I would recommend adding to this as you go, because if you try to do this at the end, it's going to be very confusing and you're not going to remember you're not going to remember the websites that you were looking at from one week to the next. So add to this as you go, but the first person would be in charge of adding resources for those first 3 slides here. The second student would add theirs here, and the third student would add their resources here. Boys and girls, I am so excited to see what you guys are going to create. And I know that you guys are going to prove that you are amazing history detectives and that you have some really impressive projects. I can't wait to see them.